My name is Robert Scott, and I'm the author of the soon to be released book, Developing Gravitas and Boosting Your Executive Presence. And we're glad you're here to join me on this other discussion today. And this is really important. It's actually even a bit provocative. And the title is God, Why Have You Forsaken Me? And this is a conversation of faith, resilience, and rebuilding after Hurricane Melissa. Now, I must say that I'm not the most qualified person to speak on this topic, so I have someone who is. Now, friends, in the wake of Hurricane Melissa, countless Jamaicans are asking hard questions about loss, about purpose, and about God. Many are feeling shaken, some are feeling abandoned, and many are searching for the strength to keep going. So today, I have what I like to believe is a powerful and transformative conversation with Cyrus Jones, who is a renowned management consultant, TEDx speaker, Amazon international best-selling author. And we're going to talk about how to navigate these moments when life feels unbearable, when prayers seem unanswered, and when faith feels faint. Cyrus will both offer deep spiritual insight, practical, actionable wisdom to help you, and believe me, help me too. And we're going to rebuild our inner strength. So, we really, really want to delve into this, and I'm really happy Cyrus, my good friend, my fellow TEDx Clarkston speaker, who is here today. So, Cyrus, you're an author. Tell us a little bit about your book before we jump into the meat of the matter.
Well, first of all, Robert, I appreciate you for having me on. It's truly a blessing to be able to talk with you today and give some insight and some just brief positive words of faith-based opportunities that we think will actually help Jamaica. The title of my book is Thank God for What You Have, Trust God for What You Need. Very powerful book. It's an inspirational self-help memoir. Whether you're just starting out on your faith journey or whether you've been on your faith journey for a long period of time, it's a very, very powerful book. Chapter 1 is Unconditional Love. Chapter 2 is Getting in Agreement with God. Chapter 3 is Conquering the Storm, which obviously you're going through a storm right now, obviously with the loss of property and loved ones and those type things in Jamaica. So that's a very, very powerful chapter. Chapter 4 is Let Go and Let God. And chapter 5 is Becoming the Best Version of Yourself. Chapter 6 is It Takes Discipline to Trust God. So obviously, as we're waiting, as the Jamaican people are actually waiting for their blessings and for reconstruction and those type of things to take place, it takes a little discipline. And obviously, I know sometimes that's difficult, but it's very, very important. Chapter 7 is Trusting God's Timing in Your Marriage. Chapter 8 is Trusting God's Timing at Work. And then chapter 9 is Seed Time and Harvest. Very, very powerful. Chapter 10 is Celebrating Your Tomorrow Today. But very powerful book. Meant to help people to understand that we serve a God who has blessings that are tremendous that have come through. Just have to be patient. Thank Him for what He already has, and very, very important overall.
Well, thank you, Cyrus. Friends, I think we have the very right person to speak with us today. It's so fantastic. So, Cyrus, I'm going to throw this one at you because this is one I know we all wrestle with in these moments. Now, in moments when people feel abandoned by God, like now after this hurricane, what is the first truth you want people to hold on to?
I think the very first thing is to understand that you're never alone in any type of situation that you're going through. Continue to take one step at a time. Envision yourself making it through your storm. Envision yourself, obviously, you're going through the recovery process. Jamaica is a resilient country. They've gone through issues before, maybe not to this extreme, but just imagine yourself making it through the storm and just continue to hold on. God has blessings on your way. Just be patient and just hold on. I know there's a lot going on, but we're praying for you, but just be patient and understand that God has a plan for you. Things are going to work out in the end.
So I'm hearing faith, I'm hearing be patient, and that God has a plan for us. We may not see what it is at this point in time.
Absolutely.
And I totally get that. Now, Cyrus, you said before and in our several conversations that life's greatest trials are often life's greatest teachers. Or how can someone begin to make sense of this tragedy when everything feels senseless in that context of what you continually said in the past?
So one thing I'll say is that we all go through trials and tribulations in our life. Trials and tribulations that we go through are meant to make us stronger. They're not meant to destroy us, but they're only meant to make us stronger. God would never put anything on us more than we can bear. So it's so important to make sure that we turn each trial, we turn it into a testimony. So there are people that are going to be helping. There are people that are going to continue to be resilient. So continue to turn this test into a testimony. Again, people are out there that are going to help you, and knowing and understanding that God has a greater plan for you is going to help you to remain resilient, remain patient, and to already imagine yourself going through this storm, coming out on the other side.
I think I get what you're saying. You know, I saw a video of someone, and they've been going through other challenges, but yet they were actually able to be smiling and even laughing with someone. And I think it speaks to our resilience and
Yeah.
our recognizing that it too will pass.
Yeah, absolutely.
Indeed. Now, many continuing on along that line, many Jamaicans are asking, why did God allow this? From a spiritual perspective, how should we think about suffering without losing hope?
Yeah, one of the things that I look at is so many people, so many heroes are going to be built through this entire process. Oftentimes we go through things of difficult proportion, but it's only meant to make us stronger. So just imagine the heroes that are coming through Jamaica that are actually helping other people as they go through their issues and things that they're going through. So I just think it's so important to understand that it's about how we respond. It's about um, teaching moments. It's about becoming resilient. And what happens, there's so many different things that go on that turn this test into a testimony overall. And people can remain resilient and continue to fight for what they know is God's overall purpose, God's overall plan. Because again, things are going to happen. It's going to take a little time for things actually to manifest the way they actually should manifest overall.
I got you. So let's look at a few practical things that people can do, because what I want to find out is that when our faith starts to weaken, what are some of the practical steps that we can do today to build that inner strength and reconnect with God that will allow us to go forward?
Yeah, and I think it's so important to understand that strong people are built in difficult times. And it's so important to maintain your daily discipline, your daily devotional, still remaining faithful to God because He hasn't abandoned you. Just got to continue to remain faithful to God. Claim your victory because we know it's going to happen over a period of time. Just may take a little bit longer. Again, see yourself through the storm. Talk to people, talk to your relatives, talk to friends so you can remain resilient as you're going through. We don't want you to lose hope. Help is on the way. It just takes a little time, and be patient as you go through. Because one thing we have to understand as well is that God works through people like yourself, Robert, through people like me. We're the hands and feet of Jesus. We're the people who's going to actually help a lot of things to come to fruition based off what God's overall plan is. We are the hands and feet of Jesus as far as doing the things, helping the island of Jamaica to recover and to get even better than what it was before.
Okay. So what I'm getting from what you're saying, or what I'm extracting, is similar to what I've gotten from the conversation with Mikhail and with Lindsay, is that we have to talk. We can't keep it in ourselves. We can't bottle it in.
That's right.
We got to talk to others, share. And in sharing, sometimes you find the solutions, I guess, and sometimes you help others to find the solutions and the strength through what you're going.
That's
so right. that sharing, I certainly take that as something very, very important. Now, moving on to another discussion, I like to talk about purpose. And Cyrus, when we met last year, I mean, we've been online talking for some time in our grouping. But when we met, I think what really struck me about you was that you are purpose driven. It wasn't about the likes, it wasn't about this, about that, but it was clear that you are driven by a higher purpose. That was
Absolutely.
very evident in meeting and speaking with you. So, in talking about purpose, how in this tragedy, how can someone discover or rediscover their purpose when their job, their home, or their family structure has been destroyed or disintegrated almost in front of their eyes?
Okay. So I think that's a wonderful question, Robert. First of all, I think it's so important to understand that our purpose hasn't been destroyed. Our purpose, obviously, maybe a roadblock that may actually pop up that has maybe slowed down the progress of our overall purpose. But this actually helps people to rediscover their purpose. For instance, I've seen multiple Facebook promotions where people are talking about they've sold their home and they're actually going to Jamaica to help people to help the island to recover, going through recovery efforts. So that's things that specific people are doing from rediscovering their purpose, which their purpose may be to help restore what we know as a viable Jamaica. So that also means that people are there that are being resilient in their overall goals as far as things that they're trying to do to help recover the island, to help make sure that people are support is there as they go through the things that they're going through as far as rebuilding. So it's all about understanding what your purpose is and understanding what your overall plan was, and just understand that it hasn't been derailed, just may have been delayed if you've got specific things that you're doing, but also how this ties into recovering the island and going through the rebuilding process and those type things. So you're going to have a lot of people who are going to be willing to help. You're going to have a lot of people who are going to be making sacrifices to help get the island back the way it should be overall. So understanding your purpose and your role in doing the thing that you know that God has led you to do to help the people of Jamaica and other things is going to be so important as you move forward.
Yeah, something you said brought me back to a book that I read not too long ago. It was a non-religious book. It was really about how to bring about change. Change in your life. Many of us, we want to have a better body. We want to have a better job.
That's right.
And there's things we have to do, but something is just preventing us from making that change. And what it said is that change actually becomes easier, more possible when there's some life-changing event. Like, for example, we have a hurricane, or sometimes it's January 1, a new year. That there are things that we can in fact do, right? Based on time, things happening within our life. And something that you said resonated with me why I share that, because when you have nothing, you can pretty much do anything.
That's right.
I mean, yeah, it's easier for me to say here, right? Sitting
Right.
in comfort. But looking at it really from a spiritual perspective, is that you have an area that's clear. There's area, the space is clear. You can rebuild.
That's right.
And yeah, I totally got that. I totally got that. Now, purpose is so important. Now, we come to the reality of fear and anxiety. And one of the anxiety people face is what's going to happen on the 25th when I need my bills to pay, but
Right.
the company that I work for has been totally destroyed. I can't even find my boss.
Right.
So that fear and anxiety is real after a disaster. Now, what are some grounded everyday practices that people can use to calm their spirits and stay focused on rebuilding?
Yeah, and I think that goes back to me from the obviously daily devotional. Continue to stay relevant as far as doing your daily devotional. Sometimes journaling. To sometimes when people go through difficulties, it's important to journal your thoughts and maybe write something down. And obviously, maybe difficulty, but I would say try to journal, write down things, and write down things that they're feeling, and understanding that we still serve a higher power, higher purpose, and try to be as normal as possible. I know that's a difficult situation difficult comment to make,
True.
but imagine yourself being back to your normal or your basics or even better than your normal. And I think that's so important. Still try to gather your thoughts, still try to be as organized as possible, still try to be a humanitarian, still try to help people, because what happens, your blessings are on the way, because you may be able to have a blessing in somebody else's life, and that may actually help you and give you a sense of normalcy, but also a sense of fulfillment, because you're still helping your neighbor, even though you may not have everything that you need. it's so important that teamwork and, being resilient and in the face of adversity, but also stepping up to help your brother, to help your sister, to help your neighbor. That's so important. In some cases, that'll actually help you to get through your own fear and your own anxiety. And as you continue to work with your creditors, your landlords, and those type things, because everybody's going through it at this point. Everybody's going through it at this point. But being able to speak and talk to them and try to get a good understanding of what the options are for them, I think that's so important.
I
Confront
like
your.
I like that, and I want to tie back with something that you said about being patient, and what you just said about is that your blessing is on the way. That's a great bumper sticker,
That's right.
because
Yeah.
it's something that we should really anchor in. Now, for someone, let's drill down into that a bit. For someone who feels that their prayers aren't being answered, what would you say about trusting God's timing while still taking responsibility for going after their goals?
And to me, I refer back to chapter 6. Chapter 6 is it takes discipline to trust God. And a lot of times just the patience and just the thought that knowing that your blessing is on the way, but also there are situations where people are going to be trying to help you. There are situations where people are going to be giving, whether it's from a church. For instance, I spoke with you earlier. I know our church is actually giving a certain amount of money. So churches and things around the world are actually helping people as they go through the situations that they're actually going through. So I just think it's so important that people still remain resilient, and that discipline is the part that we want it now, but we know that maybe certain situations where we can't get it right now, but we know it's coming. We know it's on the way. And it just takes patience. It just takes faith in knowing that God has a plan for us, that God is going to get us through this. He's never left us. He never will leave us nor forsake us. And just being patient and knowing that our blessings are on the way. And again, like I mentioned earlier, we are the hands and feet of Jesus. We are the things that's going to help us help the country to get back to normalcy as soon as possible. Your situations as far as helping other people, our churches, myself, and just being able to help people to get back to normalcy as soon as possible is so important.
Okay. So you got to take the focus off yourself. Now, faith is part of the equation, but there's something else that is important. Now, you teach that faith and action must go hand in hand. How can people balance trusting God with doing their part when resources feels limited and the future feels uncertain?
And again, I think that's so important. Again, it goes back to me for resilience. And as we go through and as we continue to rebuild throughout Jamaica, it's just so important that everybody continue to contribute. Everybody continue to do the things that they can do. Yes, it's very important that we pray for Jamaica, but yes, it's important that we put feet on the ground in Jamaica to make things happen, to give them relief, to give them food, to give them shelter. So it's all about, so you have a group, there are people that are out on the outside like myself and other people who are working to get the things that Jamaica need. But there are also people who would actually, so it's important that we make sure that we're doing our part. We're actually being the hands and feet of Jesus. We're actually preparing. We're actually doing things that's going to help alleviate some of the pressure and some of the pain points. But also, even from the people that are in Jamaica, I think it's so important to continue to stay focused, stay disciplined, and continue to work towards life-changing things that we know that, Jamaica the tourism has changed so many people's lives. And to stay focused and knowing that what they do and being a outlet for so many people around the world is so important. Imagine that coming back. We know that Jamaica is going to be stronger and better in the end, and it's going to continue to change lives and continue to be a tourist destination throughout the world.
Got you. Now, I think this is an important point to make at this point, that your own church has contributed. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I'm a member of, well, I guess it's okay to say it, Word of Life Church in Jackson, Mississippi. We received a text message, actually, I think yesterday, and they indicated some things that they're actually doing in the community throughout, obviously, from food relief banks and those type things for things that are happening in Mississippi. But they also indicated that they wanted to reach out, and they actually did something for overseas as far as the storm, Hurricane Melissa, that came through and its impact to the island of Jamaica, the country of Jamaica. So they actually disclosed that they actually contributed $10,000 to the relief efforts in Jamaica, which is a big event. Obviously, it's a drop in the bucket for the overall reconstruction or renovations of the island, but it's still a definite positive step in the right direction. So we have to continue to contribute and help to make this transition as seamless as possible, or to get through it as quickly as possible. So people, churches, and other organizations are so important.
On behalf of all Jamaica, I want to say thank you to you and your church for making that contribution. That could maybe buy 5 or 6 generators. It could maybe buy so many things that we need. And sometimes it's just that one person that's gonna break, that needs that support and that guidance. I remember hearing on the radio the other morning that someone was speaking to someone else, and they said, person was sitting in their car. They said, I'm about to end it. We're ready to end their life. Now you may say, but at least they have a car to sit in. But all of us have different tolerances.
Right.
And sometimes it really takes cash to care.
Right.
And that contribution would be doing something that would help that person to last another day. So thank you ever so much.
Absolutely.
Now I want to get into Cyris, the management consultant, the author, the speaker, and I want to find out your own coping tactics. So what have you learned, or what have you done from your own difficult seasons of your life that you can share that will help people who believe that they've reached their breaking point? Tell me something, an example from your own life how you managed to overcome, because I think that would be inspirational. We see you here as you're complete, you are a motivator, you're motivating, and we think that everything is perfect, but we know you would have gone through a journey to get where you are today.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, there's so many different examples that I can provide, Rob, but one that I guess I'll provide this one, probably a more recent one, because as we go through different things in life, I had the opportunity to work at UPS for 13 years and Nissan for 20 years. And about 2 years ago, I actually made a bold decision. The Holy Spirit was just on my life, and my mom had some issues that she was going through from an illness standpoint, and I had some physical illnesses from neck injuries and those type of things I was going through. And I was just in a situation where God just led me in a different direction. I was up for promotion and those type of things at work, and I was just, my faith was leading me to go in a different direction, to do things that would help myself and my mom, but also that God had a specific purpose for me in life. And as I transitioned from my career of 33 years, things weren't easy. Things weren't pleasant. Things were, difficult. It's difficult to go from receiving a paycheck every day on the 25th of the month to not quite getting that paycheck and being able to pay those bills every single month. So that was a life-changing event. That's the life-changing in your marriage and your personal life and those type things. And I had to understand that God had a higher purpose for me, and I had to be resilient, and I continue to be resilient, knowing that my ability to be an author and to create this book, Thank God for What You Have, Trust God for What You Need, it's changed lives around the world, and it has allowed me to be able to talk and mentor different people around the world. So it's just so important to understand that your purpose is bigger than you. Your purpose is meant to help people's lives around the world. Whether that's giving them encouragement, whether that's giving them motivation, whether that's giving them tangible things that they can do to improve their lives when it comes to their marriage, when it comes to, having faith, when it comes to conquering the storm. Those things are so important. So the things that I've gone through, they're setbacks, but they're not things that will destroy and end my purpose. It helps me to remain resilient. It helps me to remain focused and understand that the plan that God has for my life is bigger than just a couple of setbacks. It's bigger than just a couple of roads, bumps in the road. And it's meant to serve a higher purpose. It's meant to change lives. And one of the things I have in my book is, obviously, thank God for what you have, trust God for what you need. Changing the world one person at a time is so important. And as I go through from motivational speaker, maybe to talk to different people, whether it's churches, schools, universities, different groups, TEDx stage, which was so important and so fulfilling as well. But even as a business consultant, my 33 years of management experience has allowed me to walk into any facility, any business, and understand what you're operating, whether you're in positive modes, whether you have the viability of your people, they're working and doing the things that they need to do. Well, what's the health of your company from a financial standpoint, from a safety standpoint, from a motivational standpoint, from those type things to help you to get your business aligned with the principles and things that you have, and to make you more viable, more efficient throughout the business world. So those are some things that I actually bring to the table. I'm just so thankful for being obedient to what God has led me to do.
Yeah, that's really powerful, Cyrus, because what I'm hearing is that your purpose became the magnet that pulled that aspect of your life, your spirituality, your 33 years of management experience, family issues, everything. It pulled it together.
That's
And
right.
you were ready at that point to listen
That's right.
and to answer to what was being asked of you.
That's
And
right.
that's the book. Cyrus, how then we get your book? Tell us about your book again, and where we can find it.
Yeah. So again, the title of the book is "Thank God for What You Have, Trust God for What You Need." You can go to my website. That's at cyrisjones.com. You can also go online. It's through Amazon or through actually any major retailers. It's free on demand through them, but you can get it quicker going through my website, cyrisjones.com. I'm available on Facebook. That's cyrus.jones.980. Also, you can follow me on Facebook as well as Instagram. Instagram is Cyris Jones at cyrusjones.com. The book is available through my website for purchase. The cost of the book is I put it on sale, so it's actually right at $20 for the paperback and right at $25 for the hard copy. If you order it from me, you can get it within the next couple of days or so. But very, very powerful book, life-changing book, motivational message. It'll change your life one day at a time. It's going to change your life.
That's fantastic. Cyrus, I've been having a wonderful half an hour talking with you. All right. Now, my last question for you here is that if every viewer listening here today could walk away with one sentence, one anchor that reminds them that they are not forsaken, what would your message be? That one message, that one sentence, that one anchor. What would it be that they could take with and embrace and hold on to in these difficult times?
So one thing I would say is Psalms 46 says, He is our refuge and strength. And Isaiah also declares that God will give beauty for ashes and empower us to rebuild in the broken places. So in my heart of hearts, I feel that Jamaica will rise from the ashes. I feel that Jamaica will even be stronger, and it will also continue to be covered by the hand of God. So continue to remain resilient, continue to stay focused, and know that your blessing's on the way. You're never alone. Just hang on. Your God's on the way. Your blessing's on the way.
Cyrus Jones, it's been a pleasure talking with you today, my fellow TEDx colleague. I'm inspired and moved by your story and what you're sharing with us today, and your commitment to helping us move along. And that $10,000 I know will go a far way toward making life better for a number of people. So thank you ever so much. And listeners, thank you, and stay tuned for the next time we have another interesting discussion. Until then.
All right, I appreciate you, Robert. Take care, brother. All right, man. Take care.
My brother.
All right, you too. Thank you. All right, gotta see how to end it, man.